the reason that David Seymour got called a liar in the House today is because he's been lying for months.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing. Every voice break, every soundbite that he gets to talk about this racist little passion project of his, he has lied, and he's lied many times. But the lie that keeps getting repeated is that the treaty was an agreement between two races.
Races, yeah.
Which it absolutely not. It isn't. And Seymour is a smart enough guy to fucking know that. So he's not a dumbass. I think he's a dweeb. I think he's someone that was desperately in need of more bullying when he was younger. I want to steal his lunch money at every opportunity I can. But he's not a dumbass.
Yeah.
So he's doing this on purpose, and that would be being a liar.
Yeah.
And that is why I will never make it into Parliament, or if I do, it will be for short periods of time.
With lots of timeouts. Let's have a look. It was real hard watching the footage this afternoon to bring, I could be playing 50 clips, all a minute each, you know. And like, I don't have a clip that, if Debbie just get a chance to meet us, we can ask her about that you were talking about, that Aowari said today. I don't have that. But as I was watching, I heard Chloe talk about kind of give an abridged history of what New Zealand is. And it's this, she didn't say this, but it's like this idea that, you know, do we really believe that whatever the number was, 2,000 English men and women, that 150,000 Māori would go, oh, okay, you're in charge now. Like, do we really believe that? She didn't say that, but she kind of gave an abridged history of New Zealand, and I thought it was a really interesting bit to listen to. It's only 90 seconds. Let's have a listen.
Mr. Speaker, when Te Tiriti was signed, Māori outnumbered Pākehā 40-1. Can you imagine a small group of people coming to this country, signing an agreement to look after themselves in orderly cohabitation, then instead taking our land and our language? Well, that is the abridged history of Aotearoa New Zealand. That is what the British Crown did in establishing this Parliament and its institutions. The legacy of that violent oppression, theft and colonisation and the breach of Te Tiriti o Waitangi is represented in today's deeply unequal and unfair statistics. In people's lives, Mr. Speaker, Pākehā mā, Tauiwi mā, we have been told for almost all of our lives that Māori sovereignty is something to be afraid of. Who has been telling you that? Mm-hmm. Who benefits and who pays the price? The discomfort that you feel, that I once felt, is an invitation to listen, to learn, to understand, and to honour. Te Tiriti o Waitangi is a gift. It is a blueprint of an Aotearoa that respects people and planet. It is the antidote to the exhaustion and the disenfranchisement that I know profoundly is felt in communities across this country right now.
You know, and like people are, you know, like you're saying, we could have just played her whole speech. What I'm not going to do tonight, just so people know, I'm not playing any of the stuff from National or ACT, or because they're just cucks. They really are cowards and cucks, and we don't really have a limited time, but we sort of do, and I don't want to particularly waste any of it looking at those losers because we know they're losers. Chewy, anything on Chloe's speech?
Yeah, I actually do have a few notes and criticisms of what. Oh no, I don't. There's no notes. I have no notes. Look, what Chloe was articulating there is exactly why I am very much for Te Tiriti and a growing understanding in the general populace of what that means and why we shouldn't be afraid of it and why it should be central to everything we do in this country. Because without it, modern New Zealand doesn't exist. Without it, our history would have involved a bloodbath one way or another.
Well, she also said in her speech was the treaty is actually why we're here. It was an invitation for settlers to come. Absolutely. So actually, everyone talks about the treaty being this Maori thing and helping Maori. It's like, that's like 40 to 1. Okay, so that's what, 400,000 to 1,000? Is that 40 to 1? No, it'd be 40,000 to 1,000. So let's say it's 4,000 to 160,000. There you go. Do you really think even with their muskets, 4,000 people would last against 160,000 Māori warriors?
And let's frame another point. And I saw this mentioned in the chat. I didn't catch who did it, but it's a very good point. Those settlers were at the very, very end of a very fragile supply line.
Yes.
Right? So that's it. New Zealand colony gets wiped out. Well, you better come back with the rest of the Navy and the British Army. And it would have been a bloodbath.
Yeah, and also, Māori looked after the early settlers. Māori caught the fish, fed them, looked after them, taught them how to taught them how to work these lands. And this is where we're at today.
This is the thing. This is why I keep on saying what is good for Māori is good for all of us.
Yeah.
And it's why these things, why the whole thing is important. David Seymour and his crew, they want us to look at the treaty like a historical document whose time is gone.
Yeah.
That's why they want, this is the whole thing. They know they're not going to get it through a second reading. They're going to drag this out in the media, in the public discourse on it, as long as they possibly can. As long as Luxon, weak, ineffectual Luxon, will let him get away with it. And the goal is to get to a citizens-initiated referendum, because apparently we need to democratize an agreement
and race relations
between iwi and hapu and the crown. Apparently we all need a say in this. And as I've always said, you can't put race relations to a referendum because it's not equal.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've just got to go, we don't need to put this to a referendum. Do we have a referendum on wheelchair ramps? No, we just all went that's probably a good idea. That people in wheelchairs should have ramps. We don't need to have a referendum on shit that's obvious. And it's obvious to me, and it's obvious to a lot of other people that have grown up with a better knowledge of the treaty and of New Zealand history than David Seymour apparently has. And that's the thing. He's losing the generational battle.